Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for joining. My name is John Mayfield, and again, I want to welcome you to the broadcast. Thanks for joining. We're broadcasting on YouTube, live on YouTube, streaming another Global Real Estate School study session. So I want to bring that up and tell you that I appreciate you watching and thank you so much for your business. I've had a couple of great weeks with the real estate school. Several folks who passed the exam on the first time, so that's always great to hear. I'm also hearing from those people who have passed. They said, John, I studied very hard, I prepared, but it was a challenging, difficult test. And so I remind you that every study session, this is not an easy exam. I guess I really want you to understand that it's a tough test. So you need to know that. But I really want you to understand the fact that you can't just try to go in, take the test, and you're going to kind of squeak by. I've had a lot of students, unfortunately, I think, who've had that mentality. Early in my live real estate school, I was granting a lot of extensions to some folks because they would say, oh, I'm on chapter 16, I'm almost done. And I don't have a problem granting an extension, okay? I want you to know that right up front. Now, if your 6 months goes past, we do have to charge you another fee, but if you are, within 60 days and you need a little bit extra time, it's not a problem. But here's where I know exactly why people fail the exam when that happens. I'll give them an extension and they're not going back and reviewing any of the other material. Their mindset is, I'm just going to try to just get through this stinking school, the 48-hour school, and then I'll just go in and I'll be able to sneak by and pass the exam. And the answer is wrong, okay? I mean, it is such a challenging test that there's no way you can do that. And if you're trying to, if that's your thought process, let me just save you the $68. It won't work. I think I said on the last study session, you've got to study hard and think you know the material frontwards and backwards, and then study a little bit harder, okay? It's like preparing for a race. I mean, you're going to run and eat right and do all the things you have to do, but then you're going to have to work a little bit harder if you want to win the race. So it's a tough test. People are passing it with the same material that you have, but I know without a doubt they're putting in some extra time, and you've got to do that. So I'm just encourage you to do that, okay? So we're going to go over some math problems. I'm trying to, on the live study sessions, I think it's easier to do math, although I am going to try to break away and do some other topics in the near future. But for today, we are going to go over some math problems. So I'm going to switch over to my MacBook here, and we'll take a look at that and get started on some of the math problems. Okay, so I am actually going to pull up should have had this pulled up, my apologies, but we'll get this pulled up here in just a second. And I need to go back over here. That's a technology presentation you probably would like to watch, but we don't have time today. So we want to pass the real estate exam. Then I'll share with you all kinds of math problems or technology ideas to help you grow your business. Okay, so we're gonna study math right now. So we're gonna go back over here and I'll click the screen. So I think we're ready to roll now, and let me just hit the play button and I will be able to show you my screen, and we are ready to go. So this first problem is a property has a fair market value of $105,000 and is assessed at 50% of value. The tax rate is $55 per $1,000 of assessed value. What is the real estate tax for this property? Well, the first thing we really need to do, we know what the market value is on the property, don't we? Here's our market value right here. And it tells us the market value is $105,000. Actually, I was just circling this so you would know that it gives us the market value in the problem. The market value is $105,000. Now, it's important for us to understand as we read the question that this property is assessed at 50% of value. Well, what's the value of the property? $105,000, and it's assessed at 50%. So our first step will be to take 105,000. I think I may have said 150,000 a minute ago. If I did, I apologize. And we're going to divide that by 2. And what is 105,000 divided by 2? I get $52,500. Now this $52,500 is the assessed value. So I think it is always good to label your information on your paper that you have, that you'll be using during the exam. Make sure you label everything, you know what everything is. Very, very important. So we have an assessed value of $52,500. Now let's read on with the question. The tax rate is $55 per 1,000 of assessed value. Well, what we have to find out here is how many 1,000s are in 52,500. Well, I think if we want to find out how many thousands are in this amount, we would divide by 1,000, and that would give us what? Divided by 1,000 in my calculator gives me 52.50. So what is the real estate tax for this property? Well, do we know what the tax rate is? Sure, it's $55, but it was per 1,000 of assessed value. So we have 52.50, and we're going to multiply that by what? $55, the tax rate. And when we multiply that times $55, we get $2,887.50. I put my decimal in there a little. Whoops! I meant to do my eraser. Here we go. So I'll go back to that, which was this 52.5, and so that gives me 2,887.50. Okay? So hopefully you understand how to do that. There are several things that you really want to look at there. Let's see, I want to go back over here and we'll just erase all of this. They're going to, in a lot of the problems like this, give you let me go back. They're going to give you the value of the property, but they're also going to give you things like this. So you'll have to, work a step, get an answer, take that, get another answer, get another answer. They're real big on that, to have you do that. So hopefully you kind of get a better idea on how to do that specific question right there. Okay, so you're going to have a question like that, and if you have a challenge or a difficulty in doing a simple tax proration, in fact, they may give you something that's a little more challenging than that, but you need to be practicing and working on those math problems. I want you to know right now there are a lot of study sessions in your course library, and I would encourage you, I'm going to show you how to access those in a little bit, but if you're having any trouble with the math, go back and watch the live study sessions, because We've done a lot of those, and I've covered a lot of math, and I think it would be very beneficial for you to do that, okay? So let's go back to the next question. And this is a kind of a challenging question here, isn't it? Pull up my... So in this example, lost my mouse somewhere there. In this example, the owner of a lot is interested in selling. The lot is 109 feet by 110 feet. If a similar property sells for $56,000 per acre, what is the most likely selling price for this property? Okay, so the owner of a lot is interested in selling. The lot's 109 by 110, and if similar properties are selling for $56,000 per acre, what is the most likely selling price for this property? The first thing you need to understand or know is you need to know what is the square footage in an acre. Now, if you can remember the song Route 66, if you take 66 times 66 times 10, you will get 43,560. I don't know what's happening there. It's kind of a weird, like 43,560, and I might have to go to another app. Let's see what's happening here. Let me try to just exit out and we'll come right back into this here. Discard the annotations, and let's go from the current slide here. Something weird is going on as you try to so let's do this. My apologies. I usually don't have trouble like this on my live broadcast, but we'll try it again. So we're going to go back over here, and I told you to remember Route 66. So 66 times 66 times 10 equals 43,560 square feet in an acre. Now, the next step on this is to figure out, well, how much square footage is there in 109 by 110? So if I take, basically if we looked at this, we have one side that's 19 and one side that's 110, right? And we know that if we multiply, we'll get the square footage here. So if I take 109 times 110, I will get 11,990. That's the square footage in this parcel of property here. Now, it says if similar properties sell for $56,000 per acre, what is the most likely selling price this would sell for? Well, in this example, we're going to need to kind of, dig in a little bit further here, and we're going to have to take this number and divide it by the 43,550. So if we take 11,990 and we divide that by 43,560, so we're going to try to find out how much, what percentage of an acre there is. So 11,990 divided by 43,560 gives me 0.28. So in other words, if I know this is how many square feet are in an acre, And this is how many square feet are in this lot that's 110 by 109. If I divide the square footage in this lot by the square footage in an acre, I will get how much, or there's 0.28 of an acre there, right? And so now it's just a simple mathematical problem of taking what are properties selling for per acre, $56,000. I'm going to have 0.28 of an acre. So if I take 56,000 and multiply it by 0.28, I get 15,680. And so that's what that parcel will sell for. So, some of these, I'll be honest with you, when I first see some of these math problems, they can be a little bit challenging. And I don't want to say I freak out, but it's like, your mind just starts to say, I don't know where to begin on this math problem. And, to further complicate that, here you are taking a 140 question exam, national and state, and you're on problem 3 and you see one of these problems and it's like, for some reason, it wants to just fry your mind a little bit and some of your brain cells. I mean, it does me as well. But here's where you've got to be tough for the exam. First of all, don't panic, okay? I know that's easier said than done. But, a lot of these live streaming sessions that I'm doing with you, I want to prepare you to pass the examination. So first and foremost, don't panic. Secondly, I'd skip this problem. If you're early in the exam and you see a question that just freaks you out, it's kind of don't mean to be using the word freak you out, but if you see a weird question, you see a question that just like, I have no idea, just skip it, okay? Because I would come back and do the math problems later on in the exam. You've got plenty of time to do the test. But don't sit there and waste a lot of good energy and mental thought when you need those prepared for other questions, okay? So just skip it, move on. Sometimes you might see a question, not have a clue what the answer is, but as you go through the test, they'll probably answer that question for you as you go down the road. So, don't worry about skipping a few questions. And my daughter took the exam. She's like, Dad, I had to skip like 9 or 10, and I started really to worry. And I said, it's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Just keep moving forward. And then as you finish the test, then come back and do some of these math problems. But think about this math problem right here. Let's go back and take a look at it again. Because what I want you to understand is, if you know the square footage in an acre, you can easily solve this problem. So just multiply the width times length to get your square footage in that lot. Draw it out like this. Remember that song, Route 66. I'll be driving down Route 66 tomorrow on my way to Branson in Arkansas to do some teaching. And then now that you have the square footage in that lot, just divide it by the square footage in an acre. You'll get how much acreage you have there, and then multiply it times what those properties are selling for. Okay? So hopefully you understand that. It's not too bad. All right, we're going to move on now. And the next question regards a couple who has a yearly income of $87,400. Now, the couple's bank currently allows residential loans for an amount equal to twice the annual income. Okay? Disregarding minimum percentage down payment requirements, what is the minimum cash down payment that the couple will need to have on a $210,000 loan? So, I always tell you, read the questions 2 or 3 times. Looking back at this, a couple's yearly income is $87,400. The couple's bank currently allows residential loans for an amount equal to twice the annual income. Okay, so that tells me that if I take 87.4 and I multiply it times 2, what do you get here? So let's do that. 87.4 times 2 gives me $174,800. Not a very good 8, but I'm writing at an angle on my iPad, so my apologies for, I'll fix that. $174,800. Okay, there we go. Now, as we read on, disregarding minimum percentage down payment requirements, what is the minimum cash down payment that the couple will need to have on a $210,000 home? Well, we don't have to worry about down payments, do we? It's just kind of worded weird, but if you take $210,000 and you subtract 174.8, you will get $35,200. Okay, so that's the answer right there. Let's go to the next question. And this question is, a property sells for $95,000. The existing mortgage balance is $15,000 and the seller's closing costs are $1,600. What will this seller net if the brokerage fee is 6.5%? Well, the first thing we have to do is calculate the commission, right? So at $95,000 is what the house sells for. It tells us that right here. And remember, this is just a little T problem. We talk about that in our Math Made Easy. And so this is 6.5%. Again, my apologies, but I tell you to move the decimal over 2 places, so that's 0.065. And this is our total, this is our rate. We're solving for part, which is the commission amount. And so when I take 95,000 and I multiply it times 0.065, I get 6,175. 6,175. Now that is what? Commission. Remember, label your stuff. It's very important to do that. Now, the existing mortgage balance is $15,000. The seller's closing costs are $1,600. What will this seller net if the brokerage fee is 6.5? So all we're really doing is taking the $95,000. We're going to subtract 6,175. We're going to subtract the loan balance of $15,000. And we're going to subtract $1,600. So when I take 95,000, which is what the house sold for, subtract 6,175, subtract 15,000, and subtract 1,600, I get 72,000. The answer's right here, 72,225. I ran out of space on my paper, my digital paper, okay? But it's 72,225. All right? So the only thing you have to do on this problem here is get your commission and then subtract that, subtract the loan balance, subtract the closing cost, you get your answer. Just worded a little differently, but hopefully you were able to answer that. On the next question, a person bought 3 lots for $22,000 net each and divided them into 4 lots of equal frontage. The lots were then sold for $18,000 each. What was the approximate percentage of gross profit? Now I worked this one maybe on the last study session or one before, because to me these are challenging questions. And I mean, let's face it, I don't know if I had the flu or I was sick when I was a kid in school, but sometimes these math problems and percentage of profits and all of that just kind of blow me away. Again, John said, if you see this early in the game or even on question 56 and you're thinking, my gosh, I have no idea where to even start, John told me to just skip it, come back and do it later, right? Okay, good. We're all on the same page. Let's go back and see how to answer this question. So, I'm going to, the initial investment for these, he bought 3 lots for $22,000 net each. So the initial investment would have been $22,000 times 3 would have been $66,000, right? That's the initial investment. Now, if the developer divided them into 4 lots and sold them for $18,000 each, how much did the developer make? Because in this case, this person bought 3 lots, $22,000 each. He paid $66,000. The developer sold $18,000, but he had 4 lots, right? So looks like if you take $18,000 and multiply it times 4, you get $72,000. Okay? So, you could look at this and say, well, 72,000 minus 66,000 equals what? He made a $6,000 profit, right? Off this. But the question wants to know, what is the percentage of gross profit? So in this example, there was a $6,000 profit, but we have to go back and look at the original purchase price. So what I do in this example is I take $6,000 and I just divide it by the original purchase price. So I'm taking my profit, 6,000, dividing it by 66,000, my original purchase price, and I get 0.09. And if you move your decimal place over 2 places, you will get 9%. Now, I know I have been in real estate classes where I look at a question and I'm like, I don't know where to start on this. And then the teacher works it and it's like, oh, that was easy. Why didn't I think of that? But, you just have to keep practicing and going over a lot of these questions. You could very well see a question just like that. And really, it's a free question once you get the hang of it. So all I did was I looked at, well, what was the original purchase? What was the original investment in the properties, and what did the developer sell them for? And so, well, he paid 66. This person did. The developer sold him and made 72. What's the difference there? It's $6,000. Well, the question says, what's a percentage of gross profit? Well, just take your profit, your $6,000, and divide it by 66,000. Now let me go back and show you something else, and maybe this will make more sense for you too. Because this right here, see if I can bring this up. If we go back and we work our T problem, and remember that I said this is always going to be total, this is always going to be the rate or the percentage, and this will always be part, right? Well, think about this. If you made 66,000 and your profit was 6,000, this is just giving you your rate of return, or what is 6,000 of 66,000. In other words, $6,000 the part, it basically in that problem is 9% of $66,000. So, sometimes that confuses people, but I just wanted you to see the rationale that the $6,000 profit is actually 9% of 66,000, or that's the percentage of gross profit. Okay? A couple more, and then we'll call it a study session here, but I just wanted to kind of go over a few of these with you. This is a good question here, and it's really the wording that makes this a little bit confusing, but you know, let's read through it and we'll kind of explain how you work this. A licensee with agency Smith got a listing from seller Jones with a commission rate of 8%. The licensee in Smith's office listed the property offering a 4% commission to the selling company. Licensee Eric, with a different company, cooperated through the Smith firm and sold the listing for $150,000. At closing, how much will the seller owe the Smith agency? Now, this is a little confusing because what they're trying to do, and they love to do this on the exam, they're trying to get you to say, oh, Eric sold the house, so all I have to worry about is Eric's commission. But or in this case, you might say, well, if Eric gets 4% and Eric sold the house, then that means Smith agency only gets 4%. And I guarantee you that'll be answer A. They're trying to suck you into that, to that trap. And if you go for that, you're going to miss it. Here's what you have to remember about commissions. First of all, as we've studied in the class, commissions are always what? They're always negotiable. They are negotiable between agencies and sellers. They are negotiable between agency and agency. They're negotiable between you when you get your license and your broker, okay? Commissions are always what? I didn't hear you. There we go. I heard somebody say that. Negotiable. Good. Commissions are always negotiable. You can't price fix either. We're studying that about antitrust. You can't say, well, everybody charges 6% or that's the norm. Or all you can say is, I only know what my office charges. I have no idea what anybody else charges, okay? Commissions are always negotiable. But in a scenario like this, the way it works in the real world is the seller is going to pay who? They're going to pay the listing agency a commission, and the listing agency will then share that commission with the other agent. Now, yes, the title company does all that on paper, but who's actually paying the commission? The seller. So let's go back and look at this question again. Because in this question, what did the house sell for? $150,000. What was the commission rate the agent took the listing at? 8%. So we're just going to take $150,000 times 0.08, and that will give us our answer. And I'm going to plug my iPad in here. So $150,000 times 0.08 gives me $12,000, and that is the answer. So again, they're trying to throw you off by giving you Eric's amount. Eric sold it. So what's the seller owe Smith? And some people might say, well, if Eric gets 4%, seller only owes Smith 4%. So if you work this times 0.04, it's going to be wrong, and you only have 24 more you can miss. And that's not good, right? So this is a free question. Read them carefully. Okay, I think this is the last one. So we are going to do this one, and we will wrap it up here. This is kind of interesting too, and it's another really worded, let me back that up. It is worded sneaky. It's a sneaky question. It's a trick question. They tell you they don't have any trick questions, but this is a trick question. An unencumbered residence was sold. The closing expenses amounted to $526.40, okay? Plus a commission of 7%. Mike Jones, the seller, received a closing check in the amount of $37,231.60. What was the sales price? Well, we have to work this kind of backwards. So to arrive at the selling price, we have to take the $37,231.60 and we need to add, it's a seller net, we need to add the expenses, $526.40, and that will give us $37,758. Okay? Now this, what is this right here? Remember this when I was over here a minute ago and I said 6,000 is 9% of 66,000? Let's do another T problem over here. Because this 37,758, the part, is what? What was the commission rate? 7%. We're doing a seller net problem. Let me go, thought I was double clicking. This, if that's a 7% commission, this is what? Take 100 minus 7% equals 93%. We move our decimal over 2 places, it's 0.93. This figure is 93% of the answer. And what does our math tell us to do? Now, if you've not watched the Math Made Easy video, I have you do the T problem. If you have one on the top and either one of these on the bottom, you just have one, the math tells you to what? Divide. See that? If you had both the bottom ones, then you multiply. But in this example, we are going to divide, okay? So because we only have the top and we have the bottom, one top and one bottom. So you put this in your calculator first, 37,758, press your divide button. So I'm going to do that on my calculator, 37,758 divided by 0.93 gives me $40,600. And that is the answer. So again, we're going to take 37,758, divide it by 0.93, because it's 7% commission. 100 minus 7 gives us 93, or 0.93. And that gives us the answer of $40,600. All right, so I'm going to come out here back to the camera, and I just want to tell you, I hope this was helpful for you to go over a few math problems. Kind of been, haven't done some live streaming during the month of July and August. I know people are traveling. There's a lot of things going on. I've been crazy busy with not, I'm still an active practicing real estate broker. And business has been good. I had 2 closings yesterday. So keep studying hard. The market's red hot. And the indicators from the economists tell us that it's going to probably stay this way for a while because there's a little bit of a housing shortage. And boy, if you can get a listing, it's like flying off the shelf quickly. But the market's been very good. I also teach and speak, and I'm blessed to travel all over. I was in Costa Rica a couple of weeks ago, and just kind of been here, there, and everywhere. I'm taking off to do kind of a Midwest tour and do some training for GRI. So it's been a little crazy on my end, and then had a family member pass away. So just, a lot of things happening there. But wanted to do a quick video for you. I'm going to actually turn around and record another one that I'll put up and have it push it out to you in the next week or so. May not be math related, just some basic information. So if you see me with the same shirt on, yes, I do own more than one shirt, but I'm going to try to turn around and record another video for you here shortly, and then I'll send that out later on in the week. Want to show you one other quick thing, and I'm going to get out of my streaming here and bring my mouse over here so I can, let's see here. So I am, by the way, don't forget, I do have podcasts. I'm getting ready to do one of those for you. You can subscribe to the podcast through Podbean. You can also get those on iTunes. Just search for Global Real Estate School, okay? Global Real Estate School, and you can find those and check those out, because I think they'll be very helpful, and I'm getting ready to do a couple of those as well. So let's see here. Just wanted to show you, I think this is here in my login for my personal site, but you have in your course library. Now I want to kind of show you something that's a little weird. If you go to the course library, and I don't know why, if I go to view all, well, I kind of think I know why, but, and you go to courses and you say, gosh, nothing's here, what's the deal? Go up here to the home button, right up here, okay? When you select the home button, you're going to see all your courses. Now, sometimes people will say, I don't see my course in here after they finished. If you come over here to, pardon me, completed, let me go back to that, hit the wrong button. Go over here to completed, you will normally see some core, like your practice questions and things like that. So you might look here, overdue, in progress. Again, always come up to the home button, because if you go to the course library, it just shows you something weird and you won't see any of your courses here. So just go to home, and then, don't forget you can check these little areas here. But what I wanted to show you, and lo and behold, I don't see that there. Maybe it's, I thought I put that in this module. Not started, completed. Okay, so let me log out here, and I will just sign into my administrator account, and I'll go up here, and we'll go to switch to learner view here. Now you will see the review modules, and that's where you want to go to review. But I wanted to show you this. You should see this, where it says study sessions. Now these are all of the chapters I have recorded as if I was in a live classroom. You don't have to watch those. They're just there for your benefit. Now, the folks in South Dakota, you do have to watch those because you have to fulfill 110 hours. So that's why we have you go through all of those. Pass rates are very good in South Dakota, so maybe I should include those with the other states, because, I mean, they're off the chart in South Dakota. But all of these study problems, if you're having trouble with math, you can go in and look at these. I've got a couple more I need to upload here, and I'll be uploading this one here, but I always put them down at the bottom. So just make sure that if you come in and you're having trouble with math, go out and watch these. These are great sessions, and you can watch these where I cover some math for you on the board. I think it'd be very beneficial for you to take a look at those. All right, that wraps up our Global Real Estate Study session. Again, thank you so much for your business. I really appreciate it. You're a great group of folks. Please reach out to me anytime you have a question. I'm here. I'll talk to you by phone. I'll do a go-to meeting with you. I want to help you pass the test. I mean that with all sincerity. And so you are never a bother. If there's a problem, please reach out to me. Let me know. A couple of things, real quick thing before you log off. And I have to tell you, I've had a couple of folks that are having some trouble with some videos or a few things, but I mean, most people, I'm not getting any problems or complaints. The school is just really doing a great job right now. People seem to get it and they're following instructions that I give at the very beginning. But keep in mind, this Litmus that you're using is a learning management software program. It's a learning management system. It's a very, I did a lot of research on LMSs, is what they call those learning management systems, and Amazon, a lot of very reputable companies use Litmus. I liked Litmus because I thought it was easy to navigate. Some of the learning management systems have a zillion bells and whistles, and I just, in all honesty, was worried that it would confuse more people because I'm a tech savvy person. I love technology, but some of this stuff was just like, will you really need to use that? And, you know, it was kind of more if I was putting homework in every night for you. I just wanted something that was easy to use and help you focus and concentrate for the exam. But here's the thing with the learning management software system, and I have to have this for the real estate commissions in various states. It's keeping track of your time. Sometimes you might have this real quick break in your internet connection. Now, if you were surfing Facebook or Amazon or on Google or Pinterest and you're at home, you're not in real estate school and you're surfing the internet and your router goes out for just even a brief moment, you would never notice that because we have this thing called a cache that's in our computer, and it stores bits and pieces of information to help load the pages up faster. And so you'd never probably notice that. But in a learning management system such as Litmus, that's your principal or your teacher, it's watching you. And if your internet connection breaks for a minute, which can happen, your router can drop a signal, your internet provider could go out for, I mean, there's lots of things. You could be on Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi drops a connection. And I've had people who've had bad routers and, you know, I told them, take it down to Charter or whoever you have your internet through. And they would do that, get a new router and come back and never have a problem whatsoever. But if there's a brief interruption or a disconnect of your internet service, the LMS, Litmus, thinks you've left the classroom. And the easiest way to solve that is to log out and then log back in and hit resume. Now, sometimes I have people say, I've watched this video 3 times and, you know, it keeps reloading and it stops at the same spot every time. Well, first of all, if that happens, contact me because I can always move you. I can mark the module complete and move you forward. But I'd like to have, normally what I do is say, send me your username and password. I log in from here, everything's fine, works, and then you can move on to the next slide. However, we just had new students sign up for the school, so that's great. Thank you for joining the school. But wanted to just remind you that the best way to do, if that happens twice, log out, log completely out of your computer, restart it, go back in, try it again. Now, you could always log out and jump on your iPhone or your iPad or another computer, log in with your same username and password and resume from that point, because from your new computer, it's not going to have anything built in that cache that could, cache, I think is what they call it. But just reach out to me if you have any trouble. But right now, things are moving great, and so I'm excited, and I appreciate your business so much. So that's going to wrap up today's. I'm going to turn around and record another one for you here in a little bit. I have some other recordings to do, but please, 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 you have any questions, reach out to me anytime. Thank you for your business. Go out, make it a great day, and keep studying hard. You've got to pass that test, okay? Have a great day.